Ladies and gentlemen, everybody on the live stream, thank you very much for being with us today. We do have a short presentation for you, talking you through our exciting new Launchpad X and Launchpad Mini products. However, you may well have noticed the rather special venue that we've gathered you in. Welcome to Novation London. This is Novation's new shop located in Shoreditch in London in the UK. And it is going to be open until the 22nd of December. It will allow you, if you're local to the area or plan to visit, it will allow you to have the ultimate Novation experience, allowing you to get hands-on with all of the Novation product line, including the new Launchpad X and the new Launchpad Mini. Launchpad is all about allowing you to easily make music from sounds we find all around us. And so we do have a couple of short documentaries that we made as part of the Launchpad release. And after we show those, Harry Coade is going to be then showing you how you can take that a little bit further. But first, over to John, who's going to walk you through how Launchpad X and Launchpad Mini can bring your music making alive.
Thanks very much, Si. So, everyone on the live stream, welcome. As Si mentioned, really excited to be here talking to you today about the brand new Launchpad Mini and the Launchpad X. So, what we really wanted to achieve with these Launchpads is to allow you to find sound either from your environment, from wherever you are in the world, or the ideas that you have, and capture them as easily as possible in Ableton Live. So, the brand new Launchpads that we have, just here we have the Launchpad Mini, and one of the first improvements that we wanted to make was we wanted to make this a playable instrument. So what you can do is you can take control of all different kinds of things, whether you're using Ableton Live, any other software, or you want to take control of hardware as well. So let's look at the Launchpad Mini. So we've got the session mode, which is now fully RGB. So that means that we want you to just be using the Launchpad. We don't want you to have to use a mouse. You're going to be able to control Ableton Live really easily, the session mode from the Launchpad, which is a really nice feature, allows you to stay in the creative flow, which is a really nice touch. So we've got Ableton Live loaded up just here. And we've got the session mode just here, which you're able to, as I say, completely control using the Launchpad. So, the session view is where you're going to want to capture your ideas. So, if you find some sound out in the outside world, as Harry's going to show you, you can throw that into Ableton and take complete control over it, manipulate it, and do whatever you want to do with it using the Launchpad and Ableton Live. So, once you've got a store of ideas up in here, you can use the session mode to launch these ideas, play around with them, and come up with ideas that you just wouldn't come up with on a linear timeline. You can also take control of elements of Live's mixer, so if you want to stop certain clips, we can come in and do that. If you want to hear how certain things sound on their own, bits like that, you have complete control over that as well. So that is all really powerful. But then when you've got your sounds and you want to get some ideas down, say you want to get some drums down, or you want to get some melodic ideas down, we've made that even easier. Using the new custom mode, you've got a drum mode. So if you've got a drum kit in here, you've got all of your drum sounds loaded in here that are really easy to access, really playable, and I would say really expressive. If we look over at the Launchpad X, which is the 10th anniversary of us releasing the original Launchpad, which is a really nice touch, the pads that we've got on here are actually velocity sensitive. What that means is your performances are so much more dynamic. They've got a human feel. So if I tap the pad lighter, it's going to be a lighter kick drum. So as I say, this gives you a lot of control over the sounds that you found or the ideas that you have in your head. One of my favorite new features in these launch pads is actually the key and note modes, and basically this just gives you a keyboard to be able to play. So if you look at the Launchpad Mini, it's a really, really tiny controller. It's a grid controller, but you've got 4 octaves of piano keyboard. So it's more powerful, basically, than a really large MIDI controller in terms of the notes that you're able to play. That means that wherever you are, whether you are out in the environment, finding sounds, recording them, putting them into live, you can throw this in your backpack, and you've got a really, really powerful controller right there with you, wherever you might be. The Launchpad X is equally sort of portable. It's a really, really small sort of size for you to be able to, as I say, throw in a backpack and take anywhere. The note modes inside the Launchpad X, what they allow you to do is pick a scale. So if you're not particularly au fait with music theory, what you're able to do is switch a mode in here, and you're never going to play anything that's out of key. So you can just pick a scale, and you don't have to worry about things sounding a little bit off in your tracks. You're going to be completely in key, giving you the freedom to focus on the ideas. That's what we really want to do. We don't want you to have to worry about things like that. So that makes this a really, really expressive tool. Another thing that we've added, which has a massive benefit to you guys as Launchpad users, is deeply customizable custom modes. So what you can do is you can flick into the custom modes. We've got some templates in here. We've got templates online. But what we've done is we've essentially opened up this 8x8 grid for you to control whatever you want to do, whether that's an external synthesizer, whether that's anything in Ableton Live, anything in other pieces of software. You've got this grid and a web application to go with it to make it do whatever you want it to do. So this, again, is one of my favorite features. Another thing that we wanted to do is give you access to one of the best features in Ableton, which is capture. We've all had that experience when you're jamming away, you're playing out some ideas for a bass line or a drum pattern, and you come up with an amazing idea, and you think, right, I need to get that down. And you forget it. You can never do that again. So we've given you access with one press to the capture function. So if you are playing out a bass line, drum idea, and you want to capture it, capture MIDI can be done by simply pressing and holding that button, and there. We've got everything that we just played, which is a really, really powerful tool. It allows you to stay in the creative flow, and as I say, that's ultimately what we really, really wanted to do with these Launchpads. So thank you very much, guys, for coming down. If anyone has any questions, then we're going to be hanging around, as I say, until well into December. You can pop down, see us in the shop if you want to try one of these out. We've got product specialists in store, so you can come and ask as many questions as you want. We've also got events running over this, which there'll be more information about online. So, as I say, if you have any questions, either let us know on socials, come and find us in store, and thank you very much for listening, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, we do now have a couple of documentaries that we'd love to show you. We shot these to really demonstrate how Launchpad can help to make and perform music simply using the sounds around us. Directly after each of the 2 documentaries, the one and only Harry Coade from Sound Matters will be performing each of those tracks live on Launchpad X, just using the sounds captured in each film. Enjoy.
When we actually take time to listen, it's amazing what you can hear. There are powerful sounds happening all around us, and we block so much of it out as noise, but it's having an impact on us all the time, whether we realize it or not. So we're out in Rotterdam for a few days to collect sounds to build a techno track. We're going to visit the port, and the wind turbines to find these authentic industrial sounds. Then we head to Berlin, where we'll also be sampling the sounds of our environment around us and getting creative. After playing around with a few sounds in the city, we knew we had to find the most important techno element, and that was the kick drum.
Tom, listen to this.
Massive. So much bass.
That's awesome.
Instant kick drum. Let's get the chop and microphone, mic up the impact, and then we can use this as a room mic. Go again. Okay. Having found our kick drum, we headed off to see Animistic Beliefs in their studio. And on the way, we grabbed a sound from the iconic Erasmus Bridge. That's striking the metal hand railing with a piece of metal. We were just playing around with some sticks and different sort of hitters.
Oh, that's a cool sound. Yeah, it always depends on what you're doing, but I always just experiment with like overdrive or saturation. Yeah,
that feels a lot better.
Yeah. It is actually pretty Rotterdam.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds really
really
industrial and
yes, exactly.
and raw. Like people are literally like working, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like you're in a factory.
Having picked up some great tips from Animistic Beliefs the night before, we started building the track up on our launch pads on the way to Berlin. Next stop was the old German spy base, Teufelsberg. As we knew it would offer some more metallic sounds from the structures there, but we were pleasantly surprised to find our bass sound there too. Yeah, it's got that kind of snare rattle underneath with that kind of pitch envelope. Dong.
Thanks very much, Harry. With that documentary obviously focusing very much on techno, while we couldn't, of course, cover every single genre that we wanted to, we did very much want to explore electronica with the same concept. So please enjoy the second Journeys documentary, of course followed by performance, again using just the sounds featured in the film, performance from Harry again on Launchpad X. Thank you very much.
So we're on the road and we're heading to Lake Como. We're about to explore the area, collect some sounds and make a track from scratch. First stop is to find some sounds of nature. You know, when you leave these noisy urban environments and step into the diverse and delicate soundscape of nature, it really allows you to connect with sound in a completely different way. As a producer, it's hard not to be inspired. These sounds are all around us and they're diverse. Lo-fi, hi-fi, dynamic, and they cover the whole frequency range. You know, it's not the conventional sampling territory, so you have to get creative. I think the key with working with found sounds is always to be experimenting. Find different surfaces, use a variety of materials, always try new things, because you never know what sound you might come across.
That's actually good.
You're not using the same sample CDs that everyone else is using. You're collecting completely original content that's not only personal to you, but might actually have an interesting story behind them. Out because being a Sunday, there's a Sunday market. There was like a guitar, there were various like chinkly bells which could be quite nice to sample.
Maybe a bit softer.
So we've got like accordions. Could probably make something quite expressive, chopping that up.
Well, this is exactly what we needed because we needed more musical elements.
So yeah, make it nice and lush.
Yeah, good.
It pays to be agile with found sound. We came across a tunnel with great natural reverb, so we jumped out the car and got creative with the mics. As we were staying on a lake, we recorded plenty of water sounds, but we thought we'd try something very different, using a contact microphone and a boat.
Can you hear that? Yeah. I was expecting it to be a lot more of a kind of a washout kind of noise, but it's got quite a signature to it.
I think we could try and create some sort of melodic content, maybe a pad or even like a kind of a melodic riff. It's been a challenge. We've had 2 days to collect sounds and make a track from scratch, using Ableton Live alongside the Launchpad Mini. Making a track entirely from found sound isn't always easy, but it's certainly rewarding when it all comes together.
Thanks very much again, Harry. That does now conclude our presentation on Launchpad X and Launchpad Mini from here at Novation London. You can, of course, find out more about both the shop and both Launchpad Mini and Launchpad X by going to novationmusic.com, as well as by visiting us here in Shoreditch, London, or registering from any workshops or music-making cinemas at the shop. Thank you very much.